Good afternoon, students. This is the promised next video about Project 2 for Computer Science 201, Section 60 in the fall of 2023. This rather poorly illustrated graphic is intended to give you an overview of the data structure that we're trying to build in Project 2. What we want to do is by reading in these three files and processing the data as in steps 1 and 2 and a little bit of 3, is we want to build a two-dimensional list of dictionaries as shown here. Every individual student record is going to be a dictionary. That dictionary will be a single cell in the two-dimensional list. Okay, so we will have key value pairs for last name and key value pairs for first name and key value pairs for test scores and project scores, etc. And each of those will combine in a dictionary, which is a single cell in this two-dimensional list. Essentially, each row, which represents one data file or one class, is going to be an entire list of dictionaries. That's a one-dimensional list of dictionaries. It's a row in our overall structure, and that is where each file, where each class goes. And then again, when you combine the three of them, all three together, make these three rows that give us a two-dimensional list of dictionaries. The reason for illustrating that is that it's going to make the notation just seem a little bit awkward. It might be a little bit weird to you, but we're going to get it, and so I wanted to give you that background before I moved into an illustration of the next step. This is a sort of follow-up on the video I did the other day, which showed you how to read in the data file and create a dictionary. Now add items to the dictionary. And so what I've done here is I've created a new function. This is called add items. It takes one parameter that I called class list. On that chart, on that PowerPoint chart I just showed you, it's one row. I have one list of dictionaries, so one row, it's one class. So I'm adding to this. I have not yet created my database of all three of these, but that's a fairly simple step. Any rate, what I do is for each individual record in that list, in that row, for each item in the list, I'm going to add three new items. I'm going to calculate a project total, which is the sum of Project 1, Project 2, and Project 3, or P1, P2, and P3. Now, here's where the notation is a little bit awkward. To add a key value pair, I specify the key in square brackets. The key name is project total. Now, where does this go? What's the dictionary? The dictionary is class list sub I. So class list sub I by itself is a dictionary, and project total is the key I'm going to add to the dictionary. I acknowledge right away that the two sets of square brackets right next to each other really may look like this is a two-dimensional list. It's not. It's how we add a key to a one-dimensional list. At any rate, the same problem exists, or the same notation exists when I go over and look at how I calculate the project total. I get class list sub I is a dictionary, and I find the value associated with the key P1, and the value associated with the key P2, and the value associated with the key P3. P1, P2, and P3 are keys that are strings, but they have associated values, and this will cause Python to go get the value in the dictionary associated with each of these three keys, add those three integers, and put them in the project total. I do the same thing to calculate the total score, except the total score is actually a sum. In this case, I've done a sum of the six and 6 values, project scores and test scores. I could have easily used the project total instead of P1 plus P2 plus P3. Doesn't matter. I just calculated all the same way. And so while this may look like it's referring to two-dimensional list, in fact, I have a dictionary class list sub I, and I'm referring to the key value, the key, which will have a value associated with it. That's the second value we have to add. The third value, the third key value pair we have to add is the grade, and the grade simply is an if, elif. If this is what you get an A. If these are your points, you get a B. If these are your points, you get a C, and so on. And then I return the modified class list to my main program. So very quickly, we will run this, and in the main program, I had the one before where I get the file, which returns a list. I convert that list into a dictionary. Now I'm calling, I had some print statements to make sure I was getting the right thing. I don't need them anymore because I know it's working correctly. Now my next function adds the items, and then I'm going to print out the list with the modified thing. So here we go. We're going to run this code, and you see that this is my final dictionary. This is just one class. I haven't yet added all 3 in, but that's a straightforward step. You see I still have the same dictionary, Heisenberg, student ID, this, P1, T2, T3, T1, T2, T3. Dictionaries are unordered, but in general, you can see it looks like it's put the values I've added, the project total here, the total score here, and the grade of B. Heisenberg was a little uncertain on his final exam, and so he got a B instead of an A. And then we move on, and we can see that each other dictionary in the list has those same equivalent values added. So that's how I add the 3 new values. Okay, going back to my chart, what you can see is I have created this one row. I have created the first row on my chart, and that gives me what I need. So now you're through steps 1 and 2, and the rest is simply going to be a writing the user interface, which is fairly straightforward, but I will put some videos out on that in a little bit. Thank you much.